Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's video, day 10 will take us to the 28th of March, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that to the GFS and ECM ensembles over around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS V2 and the JMA model for the next 4 weeks. So it's going to be like it's 10 to 14 day and JMA Friday combined. This one a little bit different and unusual. I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say, if anybody's not aware, Mrs. P was, my mum, was taken back into hospital yesterday. So that's the reason there's no videos yesterday or 6 AM upload today. Yesterday was a very stressful day. She's okay. She's in hospital. She's having more tests. And that's as much as I can say, really, until we know what the upshot of that is. So yeah, you know, just again, ongoing issues. So just please bear with me, and we're going to get through this difficult time together, I'm sure, and we'll come out the other side of it, but it's just a difficult time at the moment. So yeah, that's the latest news. Also got a bit of news myself, but I'll tell everybody about in due course. Right, now I'm going to say thank you so much to Sav for the amazing picture of the moon here, high definition, that Sally has taken with his telescope. Look at that, absolutely amazing image from Sally's telescope, the furry one, giving us a lovely, lovely lunar shot there. So thank you so much, Sav, for that incredibly detailed picture of the moon. I mean, that's absolutely stunning, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to Savvy for letting me show this at the start of today's 10 to 14 day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to my furry friend Sav. Thank you so much, Sav, for the incredible lunar shot. Absolutely stunning. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Right, okay, thanks, Sav. Right, let's start off. I'm going to begin by having a look at what's going on in the stratosphere. So we have temperatures at current looking at 10 HPA set against the average. So, grey line, got this from JMA. Grey line is the trend line, black line shows where temperatures have been and currently are at 10 HPA. So we're currently around here. We're a little bit warmer than average, somewhere around minus 45 degrees, something like that. And we're going to see this warming up further over the next few days. This is going to be the end of this year's polar vortex, I think, and a very quick and quite dramatic end to this year's polar vortex as well. Going a little bit lower down to 30 HPA, closer to the troposphere. There we're warming up again. So we had a warming at the beginning of March, then things cooled down, and now things are lifting up again with those temperatures at 30 HPA. And we will see the black line increasing further. That's a bit wonky, didn't it? We'll see the black line increasing further over the next few days. As I say, this is going to be the final end of this year's polar vortex. I think this is the second warming that's taking place off the stratosphere from Siberia and infiltrating into the Arctic and into the North Pole as well. We're going to carry on intensifying over Siberia over the next 2 or 3 days. And the core of the warming never really makes it into the North Pole itself, but certainly the temperatures in the North Pole at 10 HPA, over North Pole at 10 HPA in the stratosphere, they are warm enough to finally reverse zonal winds. And of course, the polar vortex is completely split as well, as you can see here with the blue lobes, one over North America, one over Northern Europe and northwestern Russia, and in between we've got these green and yellow colours, orange colours infiltrating in. So the polar vortex is split at its roots in the stratosphere currently, and it looks like we're going to get a reversal of zonal winds, which should bring a final end to this year's polar vortex. It's been quite a strong polar vortex, but it's running out of road now. I think that's only finished up by the time we get to the beginning of April with the latest GFS forecast. And again, generally these green and yellow colours are sitting there over top of the Arctic and over North Pole. There's not really much sign of the polar vortex doing much at that point. This from weatheriscool.com. We can see that, zonal wind, this is picturing strength of zonal winds. And zonal winds are like indicating the strength of the polar vortex, if you like. Zonal winds are weakening at the moment in response to this warming. So we had the first sort of weakening of zonal winds from a record-breaking strong level at the end of February to there early on in March. Then polar vortex and zonal wind tried to re-strengthen again about a week or so ago, But now zonal winds are weakening, have weakened back to average, and will continue to weaken if the GFS forecast is correct, so that in around 5 days time or so, 3, 4, 5 days time, we should get a reversal of zonal winds. Zonal winds should go into reverse, and that really is the death knell, I think, for this year's polar vortex. That will completely knock it on the head, and it's reaching the stratosphere anyway. And we wait to see whether we get a tropospheric response to that. ECM is also forecasting a reverse of zonal winds at 10 HPA. This is from University of Berlin. So this blue line here shows that zonal winds are weakening, and in around 5 days time or so, zonal winds will start to go into reverse. At 10 HPA, at 30 HPA, we don't get a reversal of zonal winds up to day 10. We'll probably get a reversal of zonal winds beyond that, though. This is how the temperature forecast is looking. So this is for today, 18th of March. Again, the core of the warming of the stratosphere at 10 HPA. This is from University of Berlin again. Core of warming of the stratosphere is over Siberia, but is infiltrating into the North Pole. The black X just there marks the North Pole itself, helpfully, on these charts. The warming intensifies over Siberia by the time we get through to the 20th of March. We're into the red colours, which is you know, reaching proper southern stratospheric warming temperature levels, and those orange colours again infiltrating from you know, from Russian Siberia into the North Pole itself. And by the time we get through to 24th of March, we've just got a generally pretty warm stratospheric temperature really that's going on. Lower down at 30 HPA, warming is also taking place, as we've already established. So again, we see the colours starting to go lighter, temperatures lifting up at 30 HPA as well as those warmer temperatures move in from the North Pole, from Siberia into the North Pole. And that becomes quite an intense warming as well by the time we get through to the 23rd of March. We're going up to the red colours with that as well. So again, a significant warming of the stratosphere at both 10 and 30 HPA. You will think that would be enough to reverse zonal winds at 30 HPA as well. And yeah, so very, very significant developments. The end of this year's polar vortex via these repeated stratospheric warmings is in sight, and we wait and see if we get a tropospheric response into April, what that response will be. Right, let's just answer the phone. Okay, let's resume. So, central temperature. Next, CT is currently standing at 7.1, which is around 2 degrees above the 61-90 average, and that is provisional to the 17th of March. 17th of, you know, it's yesterday. Right, so we're still running around 2 degrees above average. Also, been a very mild March so far. It's going to continue that way as well. I think this will be another significantly milder than average month, following on from February, which was 3 degrees above average. We're going to get a pretty warm March as well. As I said in a video not that long ago, February and March often you know, have a duality with one another. They do often come out very similar. So you have a warm February, you'll often get a warm March. Not always, but often you will get a warm March after a warm February. You have a cold February, you'll often get a cold March as well. So they do tend to be a pair, you know, February and March. And then April can deviate a little bit. So we'll wait and see whether April turns out to be colder, or whether that also continues to be significantly above average. GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks looking like this. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. And you see why it's going to be a very mild month, a warm month, because upper air temperatures are staying generally above average now for the next week, 10 days anyway. We may start to lower the temperature towards month's end into the beginning of April. We do have some colder ensemble members just here. Some of these that are dropping down below -4 to -10 at 850 HPA. They are outliers though, but they're enough to drop the ensemble mediumship of white line. They're enough to drop that to average. But overall, a little bit of a cooler interlude just there, which is the beginning of next week. But overall, a mild or quite warm period is coming up. Precipitation-wise, lots of dry weather over the next few days as well. Next week, 10 days will be very dry. Indeed, warm, dry. Going to be a very nice spell of spring weather, I have to say, for next week, I think. Much of the time going to be warm and dry. And then perhaps get a bit more unsettled towards month's end and into the beginning of April. Can't show you the temperature and precipitation anomaly map today, unfortunately. The website isn't working, so we'll just move straight on to place wind flow map from northschool.net, showing that high pressure is in control. The anticyclone is sitting over and just slightly to the east of the country, and we're pulling in winds from like something of an east to southeasterly type direction. So a lot of dry anticyclonic weather at the moment, and quite warm winds as well, coming up generally from a bit of a southerly direction. Right, okay, let's start having a look at some chart data then. This is how the UK Met Euro run is looking midnight on Monday. High pressure will be sticking away to east, low pressure out to west. I'll be bringing up like a southerly type wind, and that carries on through the early to middle part of next week as well. Heading up towards the end of next week, we start to move the high pressure way to the northwest and possibly hint at bringing something a little bit cooler down from the north. But overall, high pressure in control next week. There'll be a lot of dry weather, and much of the time temperatures will be very mild. There should be a lot of sunshine involved with this as well. So mild, quite warm temperatures, and a nice spell of weather, if you like that sort of thing. Icon looks like this again. Might be a little bit showery early next week with this upper level trough within this southerly southeasterly flow. But overall, it looks like high pressure will be dominating weather through most of next week, brings lots of dry weather with it. As we get into the end next week, which is 25th of March, still that ridge is building through the country. A little bit of lower pressure out to the northwest. Could bring some shower rain to the far west and northwest, but more or less we're under high pressure there through much of next week. The GFS midnight run, again, bringing up this southerly, southeasterly type flow for the early part of next week. There is like an upper level trough that's involved with that. Might bring some showery weather early next week, but more or less we're high and dry. High pressure strengthens over the country through the middle of next week. Again, bringing lots of dry and fine conditions. Up to day 10, that ridge continuing to sit around the country again. Keeps the pleasant spring weather going. Now, by the very end of the GFS midnight run, the high pressures begin to shift further northwestwards, so we're beginning to change the pattern as we get to the end of March and turn things both A, colder, and B, more unsettled. The high pressure going towards Greenland, Iceland, we're pulling in this east-northeast wind, lower pressure to the south-southwest, heights falling down there. That eventually starting to break through as well, so that will bring quite a bit of wet weather with it, and it's pretty cold as well, -5 Celsius Iceland. So by the beginning of April, we go into cold and potentially wet pattern with the GFS midnight run. It's all beyond day 10 though. It's very extended range. It's unreliable. Might not verify. It's the kind of thing you might get after the stratospheric developments. We've just got to wait and see. GFS 6Z, again, looking like this, bringing up those southerly winds early next week. That brings on dry, mild, potentially even quite warm weather with it, and high pressure keeps the fine weather going right way through to day 10. Beyond that, lower pressure then will start to break through if the forecast is correct, as heights rise a little bit to the north, not as much as the midnight run raises heights, but heights do rise to the north, and lower pressure breaking through there from off the Atlantic Ocean, turning things a lot more unsettled as we get through into the early part of March. Colder, wetter pattern setting up for the beginning of March. Heading on to the GEM. If you enjoyed the video, by the way, please smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that, and drop a comment. Let us know about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much, everyone. We've reached 13.3k now. So we're at 13.3k. When we get 13,333 subscribers, I will try and screenshot that because that's 1333. It's an interesting number, so I'll try and get a screenshot of that. But thank you so much, everybody, for getting us to 13.3k subscribers. The ultimate target is 14k, but I think that's going to be several months into the future. Right, okay, but give us a sub and tell friends and fans to subscribe. Thank you so much. GM looks like this. Again, up level job could bring cooler, showery weather through the early part of next week, but then high pressure re-strengthens through the middle and second half next week, trying to reach northwards though late next week, so try and turn a bit colder, more unsettled. Doesn't quite make it, and just keep high pressure sitting there over the country all the way up to day 10. Also dry and fine weather. And then the ECM looks like that again, upper level trough on Monday, brings quite a bit of showery weather. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, again high pressure just sitting over the top of the country, keeps the fine conditions going. Very spring-like weather, warm days, probably quite chilly nights, but should be very, very pleasant spell of weather all the way up to daytime, which is Monday the 28th of March. This area of high pressure is well and truly in the ascendancy. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com, and again the emphasis is just on dry weather really for much of the time. There's barely anything to be seen there, so we'll move on from that pretty quickly. These are the options on the table in the ECM ensembles today for daytime, which gets us to the 28th of March. 17 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure dominating over slightly east of the country, mainly dry, fine, and you'd have thought pretty warm with that. 16 takes high pressure a little bit further to the west and northwest, possibly brings something a bit cooler in from the northwest as well. 11 with high pressure again just to our west and northwest, that brings those with dry and fine weather too. 7 with the trough of low pressure in over northern Europe and high pressure further out into Scandinavia. That's probably a colder, wetter pattern, brings a little bit more from a north or northwesterly type direction. Whoops, we don't want to go there, we want to go here. In 2 weeks time, these are the options that we've got. This will get us to the 2nd of April. 28 members of the ECM ensemble state high pressure much further to the northwest towards Greenland, dropping a trough of low pressure over Scandinavia. That is a significantly colder and more unsettled pattern. So quite a cold, wet start to April with that. And then 23 looking a lot flatter, so still unsettled, but more Atlantic driven, not as cold, not as much cold potential with that. As the air is coming in off the Atlantic, but it is still a significantly more unsettled pattern. So by the beginning of April, it might be all change and we might be into a cooler, wetter type scenario. Just bring you the JMA Friday section then before we go. So have a quick look at the 500 millibar high dominance broken down into weekly periods from the JMA CFS V2. JMA first of all from the North Pole view down. So this is week 1, taking us through the week that we're currently in. A high pressure will be in control as we've established. There will be lots of dry, fine anticyclonic weather. Week 2. It looks like that. Again, high pressure just to our south as we get into late March should bring you know, plenty of fine weather, low pressure up to the northwest. And then weeks 3 and 4 look more unsettled. The high pressure slips southwards, goes to Spain. Low pressure is in the North Atlantic. We bring in winds from the west, so turning a lot more unsettled there as we get through into the first couple of weeks of April. JMA, let's see if CFS agrees. Again, these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 18th to the 24th of March. Once more, high pressure will be in control, will be in the ascendancy. Week 2 is the 25th to the 31st of March. Again, high pressure just out to our northwest, keeping weather mainly dry and fine. All change over week 3. This is the 1st to the 7th of April. Could be colder with this. Higher pressure going further to the west. Lower pressure sets up over Scandinavia. That would certainly get wind into the northwest, I think. So cooler anyway, and more unsettled too. And then finally, week 4 will be the 8th to the 14th of March with mid-Atlantic ridge, low pressure from Greenland into northern Europe, looking cool, unsettled with that lower pressure pushing through the country and into northern Europe. So it does look as though we might get a significant change to the weather for April. So if you enjoy mainly dry, warm, fine, stunning spring weather, I would make the most of the next week or two, because all the indications by the beginning of April that we're into a colder and wetter pattern, which would tie in, as I say, with those stratospheric developments. But of course, it's all a long way off, weeks 3, 4, so may not verify. Right, we're done. If you enjoyed this video, then please can you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for doing that. Tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. It's amazing. It's incredible. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for getting us to 13.3k. Next mini target is 13.4k. We'll see how long that takes us to achieve. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for all of your lovely messages about Missy P and everything that's been going on over the past few weeks. I will keep everybody updated. Of course, I'll say a little bit of news myself as well. More about that tomorrow. Probably look out on the social media accounts a little bit later today. And on my personal channel tomorrow, there'll probably be a video going over some news. So More about that later and tomorrow. Right, okay, we're done with this 10 to 14 day abo. So if you have enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, subscribe, you know, tell friends and whatnot. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you to Richard for the subscribe gift, of course. Thank you so much, Richard, for Richard Short, my good friend Rich, for the subscribe gift. The amount of subs that gift has given me over the past year or two is unbelievable, actually. Thank you so much, my friend. I love it. I love that. Thank you so much. Right, we're done. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'm hoping might be able to do a 6 AM upload and have a 10 to 14 day for you as well. So just keep checking back to the channel for more. But for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.